英日対訳、名作で英語を学べるシリーズナンバー1。ビューティー&ザ・ビースト。この音声は、CEFR B1 相当、TOEIC リスニング&リーディングテスト500から600点程度の学習者向けです。本書を開きながらお聞きください。まずはリスニング、次にシャドーイング、最後に音読に挑戦してみましょう。単語リスト、覚えておきたいフレーズ、TOEIC 形式の練習問題は書籍に収録しています。YouTube 概要欄から書籍をご覧いただけます。それでは物語の世界を楽しみながら英語を学んでいきましょう。
Chapter 1 Beauty. Once there was a wealthy merchant who lived with his 6 children. He had 3 sons and 3 daughters. Because he loved them dearly, he gave them the best education he could afford. The youngest daughter was the most beautiful of the 3 sisters. When she was a little girl, everyone called her Little Beauty. As she grew older, people simply called her Beauty, and the name remained with her. Beauty loved reading good books. While her sisters spent their time thinking about fine clothes and expensive jewelry, she preferred a quiet life with her family. The 2 elder sisters were very proud of their beauty and wealth. They refused to visit the daughters of other merchants because they believed such people were beneath them. Instead, they spent their days attending parties, concerts, and other entertainments, hoping to meet wealthy noblemen. Many rich men wished to marry the 3 sisters. The 2 elder sisters rejected every offer. They believed that no one was worthy of them unless he was a duke or an earl. Beauty also received many proposals, but she politely refused them all. "I do not wish to marry yet," she would say. "I would rather stay with my father for a few more years." The merchant was always pleased to hear those words. One day, however, the merchant's life changed completely. Several of his trading ships were lost at sea. Others were attacked by pirates, and some never returned. In only a short time, he lost almost all of his fortune. The family was forced to leave their large house in the city and move to a small home in the countryside. The 2 elder sisters complained every day. "How can we live in a place like this?" the eldest cried. "We were meant for a better life," said the second. Beauty never complained. Every morning she helped with the housework. She cleaned the rooms, prepared meals, and worked in the garden. In the evening, she often read beside the fireplace while the merchant rested after a long day. One evening, the merchant watched his youngest daughter with gratitude. "My dear Beauty," he said, "I may have lost my fortune, but I am thankful that I still have you." Beauty smiled. "As long as we are together," she replied, "we have more than enough." Chapter 2 A Rose for Beauty. Life in the countryside was not easy, but Beauty never complained. She rose early each morning to help with the housework. She prepared meals, cleaned the house, and worked in the garden. The merchant often thanked her for her kindness, while her 2 elder sisters continued to dream of the comfortable life they had lost. One morning, the merchant received an unexpected letter. One of his ships had safely reached the harbor. It carried valuable goods that might restore part of his fortune. "I must leave at once," he said happily. "Perhaps our troubles will soon be over." The 2 elder sisters became excited. "Please buy me a beautiful silk dress," said the eldest. "I want the finest jewelry you can find," said the second. The merchant smiled and turned to Beauty. "And what would you like, my dear?" Beauty thought for a moment. "I already have everything I need," she replied. "But I cannot return without a gift for you," the merchant said. Beauty smiled gently. "Then please bring me a single rose. We have no roses growing here, and I miss their beauty." "A rose?" the merchant asked. "Yes," Beauty answered. "That will make me very happy." The merchant nodded. "I promise I will bring you the most beautiful rose I can find." The next morning, he began his journey. Beauty walked with her father to the front gate. "I hope your journey will be safe," she said. "I will return as soon as I can," he replied. She watched his carriage disappear down the road until it could no longer be seen. Several days later, the merchant reached the harbor. To his great disappointment, the news was not as hopeful as he had expected. Although the ship had returned, legal disputes and unpaid debts prevented him from receiving any profit. Instead of rebuilding his fortune, he faced even greater financial difficulties. With a heavy heart, he began the long journey home. As winter approached, dark clouds covered the sky. A cold wind blew across the road, and before long, snow began to fall. The storm grew stronger with every passing hour. The merchant could no longer see the road ahead. "I must find shelter," he said to himself. Just as he began to lose hope, he noticed a bright light shining through the falling snow. Far away stood a magnificent castle. "It seems someone lives there," he said with relief. He urged his tired horse toward the castle, hoping that its owner would offer him a place to rest for the night. Chapter 3. The Enchanted Castle. The merchant rode toward the castle as quickly as he could. Snow covered the road, and the cold wind grew stronger with every step of his tired horse. When he reached the gate, he found it standing open. He called out, but no one answered. "Is anyone here?" he asked. The only reply was the sound of the wind. He carefully entered the castle. Inside, everything was warm and brightly lit. A large fire burned in the fireplace, and a delicious meal had been prepared on a long table. The merchant looked around in surprise. "This is strange," he whispered. "Who prepared all of this?" He waited for someone to appear, but no one came. After waiting for a long time, he decided to eat a little because he was cold, hungry, and exhausted from his journey. When he had finished his meal, he found a comfortable bedroom waiting for him. "Whoever owns this castle is very generous," he thought. He soon fell into a deep sleep. The next morning, he found fresh clothes waiting beside his bed. A warm breakfast had also been prepared. Still, he saw no one. Before leaving, he wished to thank the owner of the castle. As he walked through the garden, he noticed many beautiful flowers. Then he remembered Beauty's request. "A single rose," he said quietly. "I'm sure the owner will not mind if I take just one." He reached out and picked a beautiful red rose. At that very moment, a terrible roar shook the garden. The merchant turned and saw a huge beast standing before him. The beast's eyes burned with anger. "How dare you steal my rose?" he shouted. The frightened merchant fell to his knees. "Please forgive me," he cried. "I meant no harm. The rose is for my youngest daughter. She asked for nothing else." The beast remained silent for a moment. "Your daughter?" he asked. "Yes," the merchant replied. "She is kind and thoughtful. She wanted only a single rose." The beast looked at the flower in the merchant's hand. "I welcomed you into my home," he said. "I gave you food, warmth, and a place to sleep. Yet you repaid my kindness by taking what belonged to me." The merchant lowered his head. "You are right," he said. "I have acted foolishly." The beast spoke in a quieter voice. I should punish you with death." The merchant trembled. "But," the beast continued, "I will give you another choice." The merchant slowly looked up. "You may return home this once. However, within 3 months, either you must come back to this castle, or one of your daughters must come willingly in your place." The merchant's face became pale. "I cannot ask one of my daughters to make such a sacrifice." "I have made my decision," the beast replied. "Now leave." The merchant sadly accepted the beast's command. As he rode away from the castle with the rose in his hand, he wondered how he could ever tell Beauty what had happened. Chapter 4. Beauty's Decision. The merchant returned home with a heavy heart. His children hurried to welcome him. "We're so glad you're home," they said. The 2 elder sisters immediately looked for the gifts they had requested. "Where is my dress?" asked the eldest. "And where is my jewelry?" asked the second. The merchant did not answer. Instead, he gave the rose to Beauty. "This is for you," he said quietly. Beauty accepted it with a smile. "Thank you, Father. It is more beautiful than I imagined." When she looked at his face, however, her smile faded. "You seem troubled," she said. "What happened?" The merchant gathered his family and told them everything that had happened at the enchanted castle. As he spoke, the room became silent. When he finished, the 2 elder sisters burst into tears. "This is all Beauty's fault," cried the eldest. "If she had not asked for a rose, none of this would have happened." "She should go to the beast herself," said the second. Beauty remained calm. "No," she said gently. "Do not blame the rose. Father picked it because he loves me." She turned to the merchant. "You must not return to the castle." "I gave the beast my word," the merchant replied. "I cannot break my promise." "Then I will go in your place." The merchant stared at her in shock. "No, I will never allow it." "You have already sacrificed everything for us," Beauty said. "Now it is my turn." "I cannot lose you," the merchant said. "You are not losing me," Beauty answered with a gentle smile. "Whatever happens, I will face it with courage." Her brothers offered to fight the beast. "We will protect our sister," they said. Beauty shook her head. "No." The beast kept his promise and spared Father's life. We must keep our promise as well. The merchant lowered his head. He knew there was no other choice. The next morning, Beauty and her father left together for the castle. The journey was long, but neither of them spoke very much. As the sun began to set, they finally reached the castle. The great gate slowly opened before them. Beauty took a deep breath. "I am ready," she said. Together, they entered the silent castle. Chapter 5. A New Home. Beauty and the merchant entered the castle together. Although no one came to greet them, every room was brightly lit, and a fine dinner had been prepared. "Someone must have expected us," the merchant said. They sat down and quietly ate the meal. Later that evening, the beast appeared. He looked at Beauty and then at the merchant. "Did she come willingly?" he asked. "Yes," Beauty answered before the merchant could speak. "I came by my own choice." The beast nodded. "You are brave." He turned to the merchant. "You may leave tomorrow morning. Your daughter will remain here." The merchant lowered his head. Thank you for sparing my life. That night, Beauty and the merchant talked for many hours. Neither of them wished to say goodbye. The next morning, the merchant embraced his daughter. I will never forget your courage, he said. Please do not worry about me, Beauty replied. Take care of yourself. With tears in his eyes, the merchant left the castle. Beauty watched him until he disappeared from sight. She suddenly realized that she was completely alone. Soon a gentle voice spoke behind her. You need not be afraid. Beauty turned and saw the beast. This castle is now your home, he said. Everything here is yours to enjoy. He showed her through the castle. There were beautiful gardens, a magnificent library filled with books, and rooms decorated with paintings and musical instruments. You may go wherever you wish, the beast said. No door will be locked. Beauty thanked him. Although his appearance frightened her, she found his words thoughtful and kind. That evening they had dinner together. The beast spoke politely and never made Beauty feel uncomfortable. When the meal was over, he looked at her quietly. Beauty, he asked, will you marry me? Beauty answered honestly. No, beast. I cannot. The beast lowered his head. I understand. He stood up slowly. Good night, Beauty. Good night, beast, she replied. As he walked away, Beauty felt sorry for him. He was frightening to look at, yet he had treated her with nothing but kindness.
ご視聴いただき、ありがとうございました。物語の前編はここで終了です。続きは後編のチャプター6からお楽しみください。